said a few minutes ago that we would talk about Ukraine this hour because that subject has been neglected after all the excitement or during all the excitement in the Middle East. But I want you to listen to this sound. It's the sound of a Russian drone hitting an apartment block in Kyiv. Absolutely terrifying. And you have to replicate that sound hundredfold because every night in the last few weeks, hundreds of drones and ballistic missiles have been fired by Russia against mainly civilian targets in Ukraine, in the big cities of Kharkiv, Kyiv, Odessa. And, the impact has been enormous. Obviously, there have been casualties. Scores of people injured, often people killed, obviously, in the pile of rubble. Entire populations have been sleeping the night in shelters, either in their buildings or, in places like Kyiv, more likely in the metro stations, which are very deep and which were built deep many, many years ago in the Soviet era, not just because Kyiv is a very hilly city, but also because they were used as nuclear shelters against a war with the United States. How ironic, then, that they're being used as shelters in the war against Russia. So that's where we are. And of course, we haven't really been paying attention because of all the stuff that's been going on between Israel and Iran, between Israel and Gaza. And now President Trump has got involved yet again. Remember the guy who once promised that he could end it all in 24 hours? Well, he's found that rather more difficult. And he's now getting frustrated with the man once described as his best friend, Vladimir Putin. Just yesterday, Trump came up and said, I've talked to him and he clearly doesn't want to end this war. And I'm very frustrated and I'm angry and we have a problem. But where do we take it from here? That's the big question. So you can go to Damien Shefko, defense correspondent for the New Voice of Ukraine, also in Kyiv. Are you there, Damien?
Yeah, hi, Matt.
Oh, you're there. Good to speak to you. Okay. All right. How was your night last night? Was it quieter?
Well, not at all, I would say. Of Russian missile and drone strikes cause serious destruction, and not only in Kyiv, but across other cities, towns, and villages. The thing is that what is different from last year, for example, that Russia managed to scale up its drone production, so now they're able to send 400 up to 500 drones in one attack. It often, always, I would say, in waves with ballistic and cruise missiles. So the idea is to overwhelm our air defenses, and also they change tactics in a way. So they concentrate these attacks on one city. For example, yesterday it was Kyiv, today it is Dnipro, tomorrow it will be Kharkiv. I just recently came from Kharkiv. This is a large megapolis, large city in the east, the Ukrainian stronghold, close to Russian border. And when you're walking across the streets, you may see that almost every street has signs of destruction, broken buildings. Wow. Shattered buildings, burned out homes.
And that is different, isn't it? That's much worse than it's been in the last 3 years of war.
Yeah. Since they cannot occupy Ukraine with land forces, so they turned to this terror attacks. So they try to terrorize civilian population with these attacks. And probably for British listeners, a fair comparison would be Luftwaffe Blitz campaign during World War II. But still ordinary people adapt. They sleep, of course, in underground, and it's not comfortable to wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning and go somewhere with your kids and belongings. But I would say people refuse to be terrorized into giving up, and the moral is high. And yesterday morning, for example, after this big barrage, I went to Kyiv center and was buying usual coffee, Americano, and barista offered me a double espresso instead. So
he saw you coming. You looked tired. Yeah.
yeah. So that says a lot about.
That's funny. So are you spending every night in the shelter now?
I personally live outside Kyiv in a summer house, so to say. So I can hear this anti-air defenses, of course, but no, I mean maybe I got used. Maybe it's not good, but yeah, in Kyiv, many people. So these metro stations, they are full of people with kids and dogs. And
yeah, no, I've seen the pictures. I've been to those stations myself and sheltered in some of them at the beginning of the war. Damien, tell me, there's some confusion going on in Washington, which of course is crucial for your air defences. So Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defence, has said actually that, we cannot give the Ukrainians any more Patriot missiles because we might need them ourselves, even though they've already been signed off and they're sitting on the Polish side of the border waiting to be sent over to you. And then Trump said yesterday after his phone call to Zelensky that actually maybe we will help them with air defences. I mean, this back and forth, this maybe or may not be, that must be very frustrating when you really need this stuff tonight. So what's going on?
It looks like, Matt, it looks like a farce more and more. So now Trump's so-called 24-hour peace deal is dragging into the second half of the year. And you can see visibly that Trump is irritated, but he's not irritated with Putin, but he's irritated with Zelensky. So Trump sees international politics as personal relationships. So he likes Putin and he doesn't like Zelensky. And honestly, I think if Ukraine had surrendered in 3 days or even never left Soviet Union, he would be completely fine with that. So Trump, every single day he hears Zelensky, Ukraine, more patriots. He goes to different meetings, and Meloni talks about Ukraine, Rutte talks about Ukraine. He doesn't like it, and he doesn't like Zelensky being talking about justice, freedom, democracy, this kind of things. It's jokes aside, what is really important, what will happen in few months, because all military equipment that Ukraine got this year was within Biden's military aid package, last one. So will the US keep selling weapons to Ukraine or not? Because Europe is ready to pay for it. So this is really the question.
Yeah, I know the German Chancellor Merz yesterday offered to pay for all the Patriot missiles that you guys need. So it just means the Americans actually have to sell them. Damien, stay on the line. I think we can now bring in Kira Rudig. Kira, good morning to you.
Hello, Matt. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, and it's good to have you on the line. How was your night last night, as it were?
Oh, it was terrifying. It felt really like a personal Armageddon for me and for so many people. It seems that we speak for 4 years right now, and every time there is an attack, and everybody's saying, well, it is the most massive attack on Kyiv and the other cities, because these attacks, they keep increasing, and the amount of the weapons that Russia is using keep increasing. How is it possible, Matt, on the fourth year of the full-scale invasion, that they are still able to manufacture drones and get the supplies for them? This is the biggest question that we have. And how is it possible that all the sanctions still allow them to continue building up? And it adds up to a next question. If there is a ceasefire, who gives a guarantee, or who believes that Russia wouldn't stop manufacturing those drones and missiles? They would absolutely 100% do.
Yeah. And I guess they are, the Russians manufacture their drones with Iranian technology. I don't think the Iranians are giving them the drones anymore because they need them themselves, or they did need them. So they're using Iranian technology, they're using Chinese microchips, and perhaps some North Korean technology as well. So the Russia now has
soldiers.
And soldiers, of course, and soldiers. But in terms of air bombardments, the Russians now have a fully fledged domestic air bombardment industry, even more than they had before.
Yes, and they are ready to share it back with the allies that they had, with China, with North Korea, with Iran. And this is the danger that the democratic world seems to be overlooking, or just comforting itself, saying, well, maybe it somehow will go away. I think what was happening with Iran is saying it won't go away. And this evil axis, they will continue working together, and they will continue learning on the war and then threatening more and more countries, more and more peaceful people.
I've had the fortune or the misfortune to experience different types of aerial bombardment in the last few years. I've just come back from Israel, where they have the Iron Dome and David Sling. These are very effective air defense systems supplied largely by the United States. They have a very effective alarm system, the way that you do as well in Ukraine. And when the alarm goes off, you find shelter. In most cases, in 99% of the cases, the missiles get shot down out of the sky by the systems the Israelis have. If you're in Gaza, which I've not been to in recent years because we are not allowed to go there, you're much less fortunate because the Israelis bomb at will from the air. And if you're, in a hospital or an apartment block or a school or whatever, and they think there's someone there they want to kill, then, you're done for, basically. And then you've got your system, which again has this amazing alarm system, but you don't have the defensive missiles. Can the Europeans supply the missiles you're missing from the Americans? And can you yourself make those missiles?
So Europeans can buy the missiles that we need from Americans if there would be a decision by United States to allow to sell them. Because this is the huge issue right now. It's not that the Americans don't have them, but because there is no political decision to simply sell them so that Ukraine can have it. And I can tell you, Matt, I have been telling you this many times, that there is only one thing that is worse than sitting with your family in a bomb shelter. It's sitting in a bomb shelter when you don't know, or even you definitely know that your air defense do not have enough ammunition and supplies to take down the drones and missiles, and that at some point they will reach their target. It is so heartbreaking. I remember, somebody said that they would want the hell for people who are launching those drones to look like when you have your whole family in the dark room and then the missile hits, because this is exactly how the hell looks like.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. I want to bring in Damien again. Damien, the defense industry in Ukraine has really ramped up in recent years out of necessity. And Ukraine has been incredibly inventive at using drones against Russian targets. Do they, where is that industry now? And are they now in a position to hit targets deep inside Russia on a regular basis? And are those always military targets, or are they civilian targets as well?
Yeah, Matt, thank you. Actually for Ukraine, if you look on the map, it is clear that this is David and Goliath style war. So from the day one, for Ukraine, the only solution, the only hope, for in this war was to act asymmetrically and come with some solutions like drones. So the situation in Ukraine, that there are a lot of different small and big workshops who are assembling and developing different types of drones. The problem still exists with the scaling. So Russians are less effective in creating some new technologies, but they are good at mirroring and also scaling. So at the moment we have a zoo of air defense system of different drones, but so it's more can be done in scaling this production. In terms of drones, for example, so this is always like a technological competition. So now Russians can send like 300-400 drones at one night, and there is a counter solution from Ukrainian military. It's a kind of classified thing, and now it's been tested, and I think it was tested during last night. So it is kind of some electronical warfare, so that these drones just lose their coordinates, and already significant number of Russian drones are being intercepted with this technology.
Just finally and very briefly, Kira, do you now think that President Trump, who seemed to be very friendly with Vladimir Putin, is more on your side than on Russia's side, or is the jury still out on that?
Oh, the jury is still out. I think President Trump comes to realization how obviously weak he looks on the world stage, when it's not only Ukraine or Russia who are watching, it's everyone watching. And authoritarian regimes and the countries that are kind of on the edge of being democracy or not, who are watching what the leader of the democratic world is doing. And I think it's a very dangerous path that President Trump right now is in, because appeasing the dictator only led us to a bigger war. We all see that, right? Yeah. And so this hope that it would magically go away didn't work out. And so right now he needs to go ahead with the promise that he made about peace through strength. Ukraine is ready to accept the weapons and supplies and support and fight back. We have proven that. But we need really to go ahead and have it done. These political decisions need to be made.
Okay, we leave it there. Kira Rudik and Demian Shevko, both in Kyiv in Ukraine. Good luck to you, and I hope you have a more quiet night tomorrow night. And thanks very much for coming on the programme.